Welcome back to Factorio Masterclass. My name is Nilaus and we are back here with our glorious base. We are looking at the finished Novice base. Well, finished for now. It looks good. It's great. We just had a little detour back to Novice to set up some uranium and processing and a little bit of yellow science and purple science. But jumping back, we want to go to Fulgora, but we're not really ready to go to Fulgora. We want to go to Fulgora as fast as possible, because we want to unlock the electromagnetic plants. But there are a few things that make Fulgora a lot easier to work with, and those are the ones we're going to be addressing today. And so, as always, we're going to be walking through it, we're going to do the design work together, and there will also be blueprints available, and they are available to patron supporters. So if you prefer the ease of copy pasting, then that is available to patron supporters. So thank you very much, everyone who's supporting. But if you're not, you will just have to watch the video then. And that's what we're going to do. So let's talk a bit about Fulgora in terms of what makes it easier. Well, we want foundries because that makes Holmium 50% more effective. Actually more, because we can also put productivity modules in this. But that's... so that will, since Holmium is the most precious resource on Fulgora, actually the only important one, then that's what we want productivity for. We want the foundry. We also want cliff explosives because there are some things that would like to be blown up. We don't have cliff explosives here. I just moved my power plant up here. And lastly, and most importantly actually, is the green belts, because you need a lot of processing of scrap, and you really need belts to do that, better belts to do that. So those are the things that will make life a lot easier when getting to Fulgora, and that should be the objective now, to get to Fulgora in a safe way. So what we're going to do today is we need to then get the green belts, and if we look at the green belts, they are here, we've unlocked them. They require tungsten plates. So we need tungsten plate, and in order for us to get tungsten plate, that is also always within the worm district. So we need to be able to kill worms with the current tech. Get some cliff explosives first, because we actually need to explode some of these cliffs. So first we're going to be working on cliff explosives, then we're going to kill a worm, then we're going to be setting up the tungsten so we can set up the belts. And bonus, I'll just show you how to do a cool liquefaction block as well, because that fits so nicely here on this location. So if that sounds intriguing, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. So depending on how fast you want cliff explosives, I'm actually going to design it with the blue boxes here. And you can always, if you have the yellow boxes unlocked, you can always just use those instead. But cliff explosives, they are a nuisance. They require some barrels that have to be made and some grenades that have to be made. They are on a 8-second cycle, and grenades are on a 8-second cycle, right? 8-second cycle. So there's a evenness here, so you need one of each. So this one will be grenades going in, and you will be barrels going in there. And then we need some calcite. So what we can do is we can just get a box in here in the middle, and that should take care of all the things that are going into these, and then make sure that they go over here and then outbound into a box like that. Right, so that's the simple part of this, and we're going to be just moving it a little bit down here so it gets connected. So this is the core of it. So what is it we need? We need to make explosives. That's the only thing that really is a big deal. Anything else, not a problem. So let's work on explosives. Explosives are made in there, in one of these. Let's make it out here. 2, 3, 4, and explosives here. So, explosives are made from water, not a problem. Sulfur, that's a problem. And coal. Coal is just coming in, so we're going to have a belt here. Again, using red belts for this. We have a belt here. And then we have water as well. Water will just be... let's get that here. And this water will be used for other things as well, so that should be fine. And then we need to get things outbound and inbound. So inbound, 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 and then outbound as well. And these outbound, that is going to go straight in and there. Perfect. And let's get some power poles. Right. So now what we have is we have sulfur coming in. We need sulfur coming in, and we need... I think this needs to be moved, right? Yeah. Yep, there we go. So now we need to get the sulfur. Sulfur is annoying. So we'll try to see if I can get it up here. Let's see. Sulfur. That one. That comes from petroleum. So petroleum, how do we get that? Petroleum, we get that from light oil. Light oil, we get that from heavy oil. And heavy oil, we get that from... Where are you? There. One of these. Yep. And I'm going to just use the simple coal liquefaction because I want this to be made as soon as possible, and then that should be possible. So this will also be going in here. Then on that one. That is good because we'll have coal on this belt as well. So right, let's see. This can be closer, and then flip it. Because then I can just get the water in here, and then we have an obvious location for the water down here. Into that location. Hey, look at that. Water coming in. Perfect. 2 spaces is the least amount of space we can have here. That goes there, there, and there, and then this rotated, and then the water can sort of sneak in on the side. That's the best thing we can do for this. And let's do this, and let's do, I guess, like this. That means this doesn't need to be here. And you're going to be outputting this on, but that goes on the inside, and you will be going on the outside for a box of coal inbound. Right, it doesn't need a lot of coal, this part, if we look at it. This one here, how much coal does it need? Oh, that's kind of a lot of coal. Oh, per minute, per second. 4 coal per second. So that's just something we bring in. And this one will also need some coal, which is coming from here. Then it needs some calcite, which we are going to get from... Why not get it from that box? So, this one. What are you going to need? You're going to need calcite, because calcite is needed both here and here. Then we need the iron plates and the steel plates. So, just get iron plates in here and get steel plates in here. Those are things we have. I don't even need to belt them out. We just get them in here. That one is getting the sulfur in. Sulfur, and we have... Get the calcite in. There. So we get it started. We get a little bit of production, and then I think that it would be worthwhile for us to get it to go a little bit faster on this, because we really want a lot of this. So these two. There we go. Now that is in balance, pretty much. And that should give us everything we want. Just throw in a few lights as here and there. And here it is. It's working. This is a very simple, small build for cliff explosives. It's not going to produce very quickly, but it will just produce gradually. And I guess the calcite is kind of lackluster here, but we'll get the calcite. We'll get it. We can always bump up the calcite here. So we'll get it. And the sulfur should be coming in as well. This is just kind of waiting all the way down. And, wow, it really is the calcite that's coming in. Sure, so we'll just do that. Then that should be fine. Good. So with this cliff explosives, we can now transition to working on getting, of killing the worms. So we'll switch back to the character mode so we can actually do that. So our objective is to build a defense up here. And we are going to just take our expansion like this and just let our robots do the work. Do I even have robots in my own inventory? Yes, I do have some in my inventory. Then they go up here, and we should see these getting exploded, and that would be nice. So we expand up here, and then once we've expanded up here, we're going to be setting up a shop out here. Oh, there we go. Here it is, but that's a little bit too close because it will probably have to wait until it goes another batch. But be careful not to accidentally put something inside the area, because we don't want to aggro it until we are ready. So before we can dive in, I have to show you a really cool trick, and it's a little elaborate how to do it. First, you go to the map view, you find your Roboport coverage, then you find a place that is outside of Roboport coverage, like this. If you do anything different, it doesn't work. So, outside of this area, we place this. Now this is a ghost, and it's not being serviced. So no one's coming in to save you, to build it. So we click on it, then we get an inventory. If I now take my piercing rounds, then I can right click this up to 15. That's just what I put it. Now what that means is this is actually a ghost with ghost ammo inside. You can't get ghost ammo inside in any other way except building it like I just did. The beautiful thing about this is that now we can do this. And if I then place this inside of my logistics network, then first the robots will actually deliver it, and then they will deliver the ammo. Because that's kind of, instead of having sort of belts and all that stuff, you don't need that. You just need it like this, and you can see it then prompts that it needs ammo, and then it'll send out more construction bots that will then take care of the ammo. That is pretty damn neat. I think that's pretty neat. There we go. And that means it can fill itself. So with that in mind, what I've done in preparation is that up here, closer, I have built a couple of roboports. I put some construction bots in. I put a buffer chest, with 1000 ammo and 64 gun turrets. Then I have made a little blueprint like this, which for some reason there's almost room for it. And then I just stamp it down. And you can see it actually fills at a pretty decent speed here. It does of course take a little bit of time, and this is what I'm investing to kill a worm. It's way too much, but again, hey, it's just lava, so who cares? Now this is not triggering, so what I just need is I need to trigger the worm. So now finally the worm has aggroed on us. I just kind of felt I had to sort of get them to do something. So in there, not just an empty box. Not really 100% sure on this, but whatever. The worm is triggered. As it can't destroy this without getting in range, then we will be able to shoot. And I have now 63 turrets with only red science, only blue science upgrades for this. So this is pretty damn atrocious. And yet you will see it's still going to be fine. It's still gonna be fine, I said. There. Cool. And then there's something gonna be lost. Then 1, 2. Let's try to see how many we actually lost here. All these are lost. Here, and these are also lost. So how much did we lose? We have 38 left. Yeah, so 24. See, I don't care. 24 is inconsequential in this context. Because we now have claimed the titanium we needed. We have tungsten available and get it back to our base. So whichever way to get it back, however you do it, we now know how to kill the worms with very low tech. And we also have tungsten coming back. So now it's a matter of what are we going to do now? Then, well, the answer is we are going to be using a lot of foundries. I said a lot of foundries. So we're going to be making something here. And that's going to be a little bit challenging here. That one, and that one. We don't want to use too much space. So this will be splitters. And splitter and splitter. Yeah. And then we just do the whole thing again. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. Good. And then these ones will be normal belts. And this is the structure of it. And yes, it's not built at ratio, but it doesn't have to be built at ratio. It just has to be built at some kind of built into each other, because there are so many ingredients. Good. The lubricant is the easy part. So we need to get in. What do we need to get in here? Well, the thing is, if we want to look at the ratio of this, then you get like an absolute ridiculous amount of resources. That's obviously not going to work, because by the time we build this, we only have red belts. So if we only have red belts, it's kind of limited how much we can get in. And even then, we have a problem with this consuming too much. So on the one hand, we need to get the tungsten in on this side. And on the other side, we need to get some iron and gears coming in on that side. And that just needs to go up to this location there. So we need to get iron in here and gears in here, and that means we need to actually make some iron and gears, and I'm gonna put that up here in the corner. We're gonna start by having here and here and then at this point we are going to assume that we have now unlocked, because we have this is blue tech, so this, oh no, it's purple tech, then we will also have beacons, so we can actually use a beacon for this build. And that also means that you can, if you want to, get a build in here. That will get from you to you, and then say, okay, well, now this can be slightly better. If you want to. Doesn't matter. Right, what are we going to do? We're going to get a lot of gears. And we are going to get a little bit of iron. Because don't need a lot of iron, but we do need a lot of everything else. There. And then we need just... We also need... We don't need copper. So this one is... Oops. Here. This will just be... The iron part. Yes, from lava. So we just need lava coming in. And... Then we also need to use this. The reason why I'm using this design here is because then I can also, in here, I can just feed them directly in to become all the stone here. I can feed it in to become landfill. Right. So with this being done, then I also need to make some tungsten. Tungsten is pretty awful. That one is going to be here. Then it covers everything. Good. And there. Do I want to put productivity on this? Sure, let's put productivity on this. Then let's also build something on the other side here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then that one goes in the middle. And then another one of these. This is going to be my build. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I need a little bit more space. Because I do need 2 belts in. And then this one also needs another space. There. And then you can see that's pretty much covers the entire area. Right, so what is it we have here? This is... I think I also wanted just 1 tile down here. 2. There. Now I just need to hook it up. So basically, this will be tungsten. That is over here. Tungsten, 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 and tungsten. How fast is that going to be? Well, it's not going to be visual when we don't have power, so we're just going to pop some power in just to get a sense of this. This is only 12.5. So basically, this part here is our benchmark for how much. If this was fully running, it would have to be like 1500. So basically, when we say, okay, well, it's only 12, so it's not even a 10th, then we can also say, well, everything else should also then be just only a 10th of the demand, or even less maybe, because the productivity in here. So that means we just funnel this around and try to get it in. Here we go. This is set up, and the only thing we need to do is we need to hook up the lubricant. We need to hook up the lava. There we go. So once we get lava inbound up here, we of course also need some good old calcite, and then we start producing the iron that is needed in this entire flow. So we're going to be passing that one first, and just getting in here and see where it goes. I have built it like this, and then it goes into 2 half belts. It's not super amazing throughput, but whatever, it is what it is. It's what I can do. This one is producing 31, so it's producing a full belt, and then that full belt will go in here. This doesn't seem like much, but it's still gonna match what we have for tungsten anyway. I keep calling it titanium, but let's call it tungsten instead, since that's what it's called in the game. This will then go in, and each of these also require a little bit of molten iron. This is why I built these lines here so crisply that they just follow here. And then you can just get in here, and then we get a little bit of storage for the tungsten. And I've also put productivity modules into all of this, so it uses quite a bit of power. But I have this. This is 582. If I need more, I can just stamp down another one next to it. And now we can always just get rid of the worms, so that power size is no longer a concern. So this gets us not a lot, but some of all of this, and it will take some time because you can see this is not very keen on going all the way through, because all of this is sort of getting consumed in the middle one. So it's just going to take some time, and a little bit go through, a little bit, and then we might be able to get one of those going once in a while. With what we build, we are now drawing extra on our lubricant. We are also drawing extra on our water and also sulfuric acid. So sulfuric acid is not a problem because you can just hook up some more pump jacks, no problem. But water is something we produce, and lubricant is something we produce. So let's go back over here. I've done a subtle restructuring of this since I built it, and this is now version 1.1, so also available in the blueprint update. And what I've done is I have now allowed this to be a beacon there and a beacon there, because this one really probably needs to be upgraded. So we can now go up here and get some extra productivity now that we have that. And over here we can also just put in some beacon on this part so that we get it much faster here. So it goes from 10 to 18.5. And then if you want to, we can also just put some more beacons into this, because we do need quite a lot of lubricant up here to get that going. And that's just the updated blueprint from this one. And you can see it goes in here, and then it works. So this is just an update to this blueprint so that it fits better, so you can actually just jam in a beacon at a little bit later when you need that. Let's look on to the next one, and that's going to be the next one will be coal liquefaction. Now, coal liquefaction is not super essential, because it is only going into making rocket fuel, which is nice because that helps us with launch rockets, and plastic. And plastic is not used until we have electromagnetic plants, so you don't technically have to build it now, but you know, while we're on VULCANUS, let's build it, and then when we leave, then it should be fine. It'll help with launching rockets. So let's start from the start. Great place to start. And that is going to be for the liquefaction. Now we had the simple one, which doesn't give us much, but now we want to use the proper one. And we're going to be building this one between and there. Then we're going to be using modules or beacons for this, and they will be here, here, and here. We also want to use productivity here. And then this one will be going on the other side, and then it'll be flipped like that. So this is the maximum distance it can be from these, and then still attach it. Now each of these will then be made like this, and there, and there. This part goes up here, goes down there. The whole thing, flip it, and go on the other side. Yes, so far so good. Then we have to consolidate things, and that's going to be into the middle, because you need to consolidate all of this, and that actually needs to be consolidated into this one, which goes here, and not beyond that location. That one, and then it also has to go on the other side, which is easy, because then we just do leap across. So now we've taken all the inputs. Get the inputs going, get the outputs flowing back, and then the remainder can then be sent up here, eventually. And we also need some power, which I'm going to be putting in here, because that's one of the few places it can actually be, and it is not close enough. Here, I think. So now the next thing is we need to get some steam inbound, which is going to be then equivalent, like this. There, and then we get steam up here somewhere. Let's deal with that. But we need steam, heavy oil, and we need coal inbound. So we're going to get coal inbound, and that's going to come in from here. And that's just going to go in and basically go like this. Oops. And again, we are making it with red belts, because you might want to do this before you have the green belts. Also, the green belts are kind of expensive, so maybe you don't want to do that yet. Right, so this comes in, and then we need to get some inbounds here. Are these going to be fast enough? So actually, you can see here, it's actually only grabbing from one side. That is somewhat intended, because the other one is going through for something else we need. We need it for plastic as well. So the other one is just going back for plastic. And then we take whatever residual there is left. Let's see. This one is using 24, so we take the residuals here and then just get it in. So we have now one consolidated belt. That goes out. I don't know, like one out here. Right? Right, so what else? What now do we need? Now we need some steam inbound. Let's actually just kind of figure out the end product. But this one gives us some kind of idea about the scaling of it. And no, I kind of need to break it down first. Okay, so let's break it into the light oil first. And the petroleum. Yeah? Here. So you're gonna make petroleum like that. How many do we want? One more. And there we go. That should also be done. And then I'm gonna be very generous with my beacons here, because this is gonna be a tight build. So it's gonna be here. Let's see. 7, I think is the right number. Yes, 7 is the right number. Okay, and then it'll also go into on the other side. That can be here. This will be the heavy oil. That one. How many do we want of that? 4 of those should be enough. And then I just want this to be powered so that I can see the actual results. That one, that one, that one, that one, and good. So that is powered now. Good. Then let's have a look at the whole build, and it looks pretty good. There's one increase here and pretty much there. So this is what I'm gonna call ratio. So that gives us a total of 207 petroleum if everything gets consumed into petroleum. That's kind of the essence of it. And then let's take a look at what plastic would be like. And let's make a design such as this. Plastic, 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 plastic. And then on the other side is also going to be plastic. And then there. And maybe just barely connected. Good. This one can now consume a little bit too much, but that's still fine, because this whole thing here, 256, yes. But we can consume all of it if we have all of it, that's fine. We can also get better modules beacon, but this is a nice little module. So if we don't need any rocket fuel, this is going to be fine. But we can also just make a cool rocket fuel build. Whew, that's enticing. Why do we have this one? That one. There. Right, so rocket fuel can be built along a central core, which has that. This is the rocket fuel. There. And on the outside, it is getting in here from a single one of these, like that. And that should then be here, right? Is this ratio okay? Nope, because we also need beacons for this. So I'm gonna smash a beacon in here. And then I'm gonna need some power pole to check that it's working. This one. It's a pretty good ratio. This is good enough ratio for us. And then I can do one more. I can't do one more. How close do they have to be together? Like this? And then another one over here. Then I think this is better ratio. Yeah, better ratio. This is a 2-to-1 ratio. So that's the one we're gonna go with. And then we just collide it around this location here. There we go. This is the module that we are looking for. And I need to take this part. And then if I plant it up here, like that. And this has to get a little bit closer, a little bit out of the way, I guess. And another one like that. That is as big as I can reasonably allow it to be done. There we go. And then this one just now needs to go into a box. Very simple, like this. And then just some boxes. Let's see, some of these boxes, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Here. Good. And that one, and some inputs. But it looks really nice, this build. Now let's clean up the plastic just by doing this part. And then we are going to be sneaking in on the inside. I love these kind of designs here. They are so crisp and they're so fun to do. It's just that we've now done it so many times that it becomes like second nature for how these are going to be built. Like that one, and I flip it over to that side. Oops, that was misplaced. Here. So that is the easy place to get inbound. And then what are we going to get? We are going to get a single coal belt inbound in the middle, because it doesn't need that much coal, so it can easily just take the coal inbound there. And then it's going to get outbound each of these on the outside. And that goes this, like this, and then merge it in and into something along the lines of that. Now it's a little bit too high up, but then it can be brought a little bit down. 2 from the top, and then this one's also 2 from the top. Then it just looks so much nicer. There we go. So these are nice. Now this one needs to be cleaned up in terms of how this is going to make, and I kind of... No, this whole thing here has to be one closer to the edge, because I'm missing a space. There. I can see that. It's going to interfere. There we go. Now this thing has to be sorted, and then that's there. Good. So how do we sort this? Well, we start by getting the heavy oil in. We'll tie them all together later on, but first, just there. Then we're going to get the water in, which will go out on the outside. And also go up to... Well, this is going to have the same thing. Right, so... water goes down. We have no idea where that water goes. But water here. The light oil is closest, so we do light oil. Light oil, light oil, light oil. And that will now go up and connect to the other light oil. This one. That's easy. Oops, it's not easy at all. It has to skip these. And isn't that like a perfect place for light? Light, light. Good, light, light. Good, then let's get the water in. Yeah. And that goes down here. And water out on the side. Yeah. We still don't have a solution for water, but I think we get it. I think we'll get it. And then this one is connecting the... Whoa, okay, that's not it. Like water up here, yes. Water, water, there. And connect to the next. Whew. Okay, so all this connected. We don't have a way to get petroleum out, but we will. And now we just need to... No, we don't need to not just merge it, because we still have the issue of the sulfuric acid coming in and turning it into water, into steam. So that's going to be a tricky thing. That means we need to get that here. That's going to be our water production. There. How fast is it? It's now 170. That doesn't seem fast enough. We need more. So I'm going to put it here. You are 200. So this is 374. Good. And then that needs steam. So if I can get steam in here, the good news about this being steam is that we also need steam for something else. So we can just hook this one up here. And this one was begging for steam right there. So that's connected now. Good. And then this one just needs some sulfuric acid. So how do we get sulfuric acid in? Well, I can just get it from here. It's almost like this is designed, right? It's almost like I had an intention with this. Almost. And the coal is coming out, which then goes up to that one. Nice. Now, the only thing we don't have that I kind of feel we should have, which might not be something that's incredibly critical, but it just feels good, for me at least, is to have this kind of box for the heavy oil. Because then you can always get the heavy oil and just say, okay, you only enable it when the heavy oil is greater than, I don't know, 1000 is enough. Just need to make sure that it doesn't empty this. And that goes up and goes into the heavy oil, which goes in here together with water. Water is supplied from that one and that one. Both ends are connected. Yes, and the light oil is coming out here, but it's not connected to the light oil. So we do need... The heavy oil is now connected, but the light oil is not connected. So we need to connect the light oil here. Light oil should be easy to connect this way. Let's get another one here, and that will connect up to that one, and here. Connect, connect, connect. Now, petroleum is connecting here. That one, and up, and connected directly into the plastic. Sweet. That should be it. Let's throw some lights in and then kickstart it. Now this is ready to hook up, and the only thing we need is a little Kickstarter. And that we got here. We got a little Kickstarter from this one. And that's going out. And then we wonder why this is not working. I wonder why. This is not working because it doesn't have any steam. This doesn't have any steam because it doesn't have any calcite. And the reason why it doesn't have the calcite is because some idiot forgot to actually request a calcite. So, you know, there's also always a good reason why there's something is not working. It's in Factorio, so there's never any point where you go, this must be a bug. Well, if you do, then you must be new around here. Because it's never Factorio. It's always you or me. Right. So when the calcite decides to come in, we might just spur it on and give it a little... there we go. So that gets us some steam. As long as we get some steam, then they start picking up some coal. There we go. This, is it fast enough? I don't know. Yeah, hopefully it is, but I'm not really sure. It's not quite fast enough. We need to either get more in terms of the swing speed, which is there. That one. This one will give us one more non-bulk inserter plus one extra, which will make a big difference for this. Or you could even use a little bit better, yeah, but this is working for now. You could use like higher quality. That's also an option. But it works. We got it. Everything is happy, and we have a setup. Now, why is this not working? Oh, because I didn't hook it up right. It's kind of important to also include that one in the mix. And I'm just gonna basically connect it the easiest place we can. That one is here. So that means it now goes into this location and then gradually also starts this. This means that I'm leaching some of the light oil that could be turned into plastic, but at some point we'll find a balance between the rocket fuel and the plastic, and when one is full, then the other one will be able to get all of it. In the meantime, it just runs at sort of both of them at 60% speed. That sounds good. And that means we're now absolutely ready to go to Fulgora. We have green belts, we have explosives, we also have some rocket fuel and plastic should we need it. We actually might need some extra plastic on Fulgora. That's something you kind of need. And then we have a happy little base, doesn't take much space, and we're ready to go to Fulgora. So that is going to be the next episode. That is the landing on Fulgora and getting started on the sorting and the holmium and all that stuff. So hopefully you'll stick around for that one. If you want to keep up with it, then be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want the blueprints that we've designed, these are pretty elaborate designs and pretty awesome, then you can pledge on Patreon, and then you can download those as part of the blueprint package. So thank you very much everyone for joining. I hope to see you in the next episode. Until then, take care and stay effective.